What up, everyone? Nathan here coming at you with a new podcast, and today we're gonna talk about an announcement that Riot Games did just today. Today is Thursday, January 5th, and they just announced that they will be releasing a 10 ban system and a new draft for pro play. So what do we call pro play? Is all the tournaments that are managed by Riot Games directly. So LCS, Worlds, MSI, etc. So it means that your local tournaments won't have the same draft, etc., etc. So I wanted to talk about this because obviously, ever since the champion pool grew, and ever since we went from 4 bans to 6 bans, we've seen a lot of more and more champions becoming more valuable, allowing more strategic plays, allowing more strategic pools, etc. And the community was asking for an additional bans. It means four per team instead of 3 per team, as we could see last season or even today in solo queue. And Riot Games decided to change not only the number of bans, but how the draft is going on. So let me show you a little bit of the article. If you didn't have the chance to read it, I will post the link down below. But basically, the draft, so there will be 5 bans per team, but there will be 3 at start, so as we're used to right now, and 2 additional bans in the middle of the draft after each team picked 3 champions. So here you have the pattern. So 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 pick, 2 pick, 2 pick, 1 pick, just like today with the blue side having the first pick and the first ban. And then the red team will have the last pick and the first ban of the phase 2, and the blue team would have the last ban of the phase 2, and then the pick will go red, 2 for blue and 1 red. So if you're familiar with Dota 2, I'm not sure if this is exactly the model that Dota 2 uses, but this is very similar to what they have or what they have for solo queue and the international or any major tournaments they're doing. But this is a really interesting step forward. I mean, every game is a little bit copying each other, right? Taking the pros or the really good, like the really cool stuff that works, and implements to the game, but Riot decides to be a little bit smart and change it and tailor it to its own game needs, etc. So this decision is not off the bat. They tell you that they tested this. Here we go. So they put in the series in partnership with pros, they did trials, etc., etc. And let me just change this. So what Riot is trying to do is they're trying to bring, first of all, more entertainment, so more eyeballs to the draft, which tends to bore a little bit of people. I mean, when you have a programmer playing Teemo, everyone is hyped up and stuff, but still, the draft, it's very boring for most people. I used to be a shoutcaster and analyst, and the draft is super crucial to any professional game since sometimes the team can just lose within the draft period, right? Because you can get outdrafted very easily. But the average player doesn't really care about this. He wants to see his favorite player play his favorite champion or whatever. And the whole mechanical of the draft is something that shoutcaster analyze, give you a lot of data on. But it's not, I feel like it's not something the majority of viewers are following, or this is not why they're watching this. They're probably like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the kitchen, get some snacks while the draft is, so when I come back, the game would have started, or something like this. So Riot wants to get more eyeballs during the draft and make it more entertaining and more intense, and also something that is really smart is that they want to allow players to, how to put this? How did it tell you about that? They want to allow people to react in the middle of a draft so that they can. So in draft, they want the teams to react, right? They want to be like, okay, they pick this, and that. Ooh, I don't know if it's smart if we can let them pick this and that, sort of. This automatically forces the pro gamers to learn way more champion. Like having a broad champion pool and having a versatile gameplay with different champion is gonna be mandatory, especially for carries. If you're a mid laner and you only know how to play Orianna and Syndra, you're gonna be dead because if you're a team like TSM that gravitates around his mid laner, you're probably gonna suffer a lot from those drafts, since people are gonna react to what you're trying to do mid draft, and they're gonna kill your draft, and they can probably outdraft you very easily. Something that also calls that is the bluff potential. Like, you could totally bluff people. We know how carries are important in League of Legends, but maybe like picking, because you have a pick phase with 3 picks. Maybe you could pick support. You can pick the bot lane and the jungle maybe, and surprise people by picking like synergize the top and mid. There's a lot of stuff that are interesting and that could be used as bluff. We will see how pro gamers wants to do it. So the thing is that this concerns this concerns only the pro scene, so LCS, Worlds, MSI, etc., etc. And I think it's really good, as it forces pro gamers to learn new champion, and it forces, it allows us to see more stuff. I mean, sometimes a whole season or the whole half of a season, you can see the same champions coming again and again and again, and it can be boring for the viewers. And I feel like Riot understand that midway through the season, people are like, the viewership is not growing as fast as the hype, and this is something they're trying to fix. So they're trying to bring like diversity in the picks, and that's something really interesting. So you might see your favorite player playing a very exotic pick. I'm sure that right now, if you check on Twitch, the pro players check what they practice in solo queue, and see how this can give you a hint of what you should be seeing. So after finishing this, before finishing this video, I want to talk about, so the community is, so half of the community is very happy about it. Majority of the community is happy about it. The other is kind of disappointed that concerns only the pro player, and I can understand that fully, since I think there's a need for at least an additional draft, or an additional ban, sorry, as there's a lot of champions right now that are really valuable. I just think that Riot is a smart company, and they will do this with pro gamer, and they will almost educate the users, the players of League of Legends, through LCS, and maybe midway through the season they will just add it to solo queue. So if you guys are one of those people that worry about how is this going to end, how is it going to be, like, when is this going to be implemented to solo queue, I'm pretty sure Riot Game is using this to educate us about how the draft will work, what we can do with it, why is it interesting, what are the potential, what are the pros and cons, what is it to be careful about, etc., etc. And I think that just midway through the season, or maybe in a month or two, like maybe it will just take a week of LCS for us to understand everything, they will implement it to solo queue. I don't think this is the whole concept that they will just make it exclusive to LCS. So what they say is we should be able to talk more about our thoughts on pick and ban changes in regular play early 2017. In the meantime, if you got any thoughts on pick and ban, whether in pro or regular play, please do let us know. So yeah, and the first comment, I always like to see the first comment since it's very interesting. Personally, I'll be happy if regular games, I'm just going to show you, you know what? Personally, I'll be happy if regular games use the same format as professional games. Okay, but this is just going to take a little bit of time, which I understand from Riot's perspective. While you might not be able to target ban specific players on enemy team, you still adjust to pick allies until opponent. Has the enemy already picked an ADC? You probably don't need to ban Vayne or Caitlyn. Allies have picked several CC-oriented champion, while the enemy does have a jungle support. Consider banning Olaf or Organa. Yeah, this is an interesting thought, being voted 100 times. I've never really hanged out in this comment section. Maybe I should give it a try and just hang out there and see what's up. But this is an interesting way of cases of how solo queue players can reflect. What Riot is scared of is that because you don't know who you're playing with and who you're playing against, you wouldn't know how to strategize a draft correctly, and you won't be able to do something well constructed, and you might just not appreciate the whole draft experience. So Let me just come back. Yeah, so this is it for this news, guys. Let me know what you think of this. I think it's really smart. Um, Dota 2, if you haven't seen this, the draft in Dota 2 for international, but the draft is amazing. And even though you're not a player, you might understand it, to be honest, because it's very, very well thought out. This is very similar. But it's very interesting. So I'm really hyped about this season of LCS. I mean, we have so much cool changes, roster changes, new players and stuff. This should be exciting. This should even bring more hype to the draft, and this should be really interesting to see what pro gamers came out as exotic picks. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you for the next one. Don't forget to check out zonopost.com for more news, updates, and content about video games. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.